Hello, my name's Gordon of Festool UK and welcome to the FFX Winter Tool Show. Please take a moment to watch my good friends Carl and Alan present the dust extraction range from Festool.
So, welcome to Extraction 101.
Yes.
So Alan and I are both part of the technical training team here at Festool, and I don't think a day goes by, Alan, where we don't get the question, you know, which extractor, why, what does this do, what does that do? And the biggest thing we get is the cry for help.
Yeah, we get a lot of those questions.
So I think the purpose is of this little presentation is to run through extraction, some of the key do's, don'ts, and also making sure that we help you select the right extractor for your needs.
And one of the first things to consider when you're purchasing the extractor is classification. And believe it or not, every single extractor has got a classification. And in the Festool world, there are 4 different types of classification. So the first one is quite easy, isn't it, Cole?
Unclassified.
Unclassified.
Yeah. So to my right-hand side here is a perfect example of the unclassified extractor, our CT15. And then we get to our classified ones. So their next 3 are?
Yeah, and there's a nice little highlight right there next to Carl is the L. It's quite difficult to miss it. So the next 3 are quite easy to remember. They're L, M, and H. An easy way to remember it is low, medium, and high. And let's take you through these classifications, what they mean for you, and what you need to look out for. So as Carl said, there's an L, and then there's also an M. Carl's got behind him as well. And also there's an H. So there are a lot of choices out there for you. And you see, each classification comes in different sizes and different variants, but the classification goes across all the range of extractors. So Cole, what would you use an unclassified extractor for?
So for me, unclassified extractors are for remedial cleaning work. So this would be heavy dust that's dropped to the floor by probably the use of a manual tool. You know, there are times when we do jobs that power tools aren't used, and you know, we make dust and mess that way. And again, you know, perfect cleaning. So if you've again been in an office environment, working in an office environment, and you needed to clean up afterwards, absolutely perfect. You know, use it for that.
Yeah. And then you've got the L, which is also recommended for remedial work, anything that is non-carcinogenic. So, Carl, you've mentioned a good one earlier on this morning.
Yeah, plastics.
That's a great one.
And one that comes under that, actually thinking about it, is solid surface.
Yes.
So those of you that are solid surface work contractors out there, if that's all you do, day in, day out, L-class would be absolutely fine.
Yeah. And another one for the L-class as well, for the painters and decorators out there, is modern day emulsions. They're not carcinogenic at all, but please be careful, because if you're sanding through your modern day emulsions, you don't know what nasties lie underneath that, which brings us to the next topic of M-class.
Yep.
So anything carcinogenic is M-class requirements for wherever you're working, because it just offers you that extra level of protection and safety net. So if you are a paint and decorator and you're sanding through those emulsions, possibly getting to timber or possibly getting to other paints that are really old and you're not quite sure what's in them, other little nasties, the M-class will give you nice protection for them. For carpenters and joiners, a lot of woods are carcinogenic. If you're construction, a lot of the silicas are not very good for you at all. So the M-class gives you that extra level of protection on that. And
yeah, so that's hardwoods, softwoods, man-made boards, so MMM, man-made material, man-made boards, it sort of ties in quite nicely. So that would be things like OSB, MDF, plywood, you know, you name it, the amount of construction materials that are out there. But would it also include, like, as you say, silica-based property as well?
Absolutely. And a nice hint, if a customer always asking me, I ask them what voltage are they using. If they're 240, if they're 110. Because if you're 110, there is another caveat, isn't there, Carl? It doesn't matter if you're walking on site, how much you've spent on your extractor, all singing, all bells. If it does not have M-class extraction, a lot of sites you will not be allowed onto. So please, if you 110 volt, that's a strong indicator for you to get M-class extraction. But then there's the high one.
Yeah, and this is the one to be a little bit careful about, and they would be immediately hazardous to health. So that might be asbestos, it may be mold, it may be other really itchy fibres and that sort of thing that potentially could give you an instant reaction. The best thing to do really there is to confirm the type of material you're using with the manufacturer of that material. So they will produce something called a COSH regulation, and that COSH regulation will tell you the dust requirement classification for that material, and that's probably the best way to ensure that you're using the right extractor for the right material.
Absolutely. So after classification, you can take a look at the dust type that you're generating, which is a real helpful indicator to you as to which extractor you need to get. So if you're dealing with wood dust, let's say I'm a carpenter, Carl, I'm wood dust and I'm predominantly carpenter joiner, what kind of or what type of extractor should I then go for?
So any of the extractors that you see behind us are suitable, and those extractors work with a closed bag system, which we'll have a closer look at in a moment, and those are internal filter bags, which are again doing what they suggest, filtering a lot of material for you, and they don't clog because the dust is quite coarse.
And that's, I think, a key point is coarse waste, and so a closed bag is absolutely perfect for that. But then you've got the other side of the coin where you're dealing with incredibly fine waste. So a lot of people are dealing with fillers, just sanding fillers the whole day, drywall liners, plasterers, and even painters and decorators. To a large extent, the waste they generate is very, very fine. It's almost like a fine flour. In that instance, the closed bag system that Carl's just spoken about won't be able to function properly. So you need an auto clean extractor. So this is a very special type of extractor because instead of a closed bag, you're now going to an open bag system. And we've got a little video that we can run for you now, just so that you can see what it looks like inside the extractor when an auto clean function actually operates on an extractor. Let's jump to that quickly. And I love that little video. And Carl, I love the way you describe what's happening there.
Yeah, so in essence what's actually happening there is the fine dust that would normally get blocked in the filter bag, so we've removed that filter bag and used the open bag lining system, is now attacking directly the filter in the extractor. And just like you, if you breathe in dust, the first reaction is that you will cough. So that, in essence, is what the extractor's doing. It doesn't shake, it's not a vibrating thing. You may have heard that on the market before. What Festool do is it blows back pressure through the filter and, as I say, in essence, coughs.
Yeah, and it's a great, efficient way of coping with high volumes of the very, very fine dust. So an auto clean extractor is perfect if you're a drywaller or if you're a renovator, building construction, where you're dealing with different types of waste. That's a great option of extractor for you.
Yeah.
What's the next thing to consider if you're looking at extractors, Carl?
The next thing for me then is the size. So what do I do? Where am I mobile? Am I in a workshop? All those things come into consideration. And I suppose why that's so important is because, remember, the amount of dust that goes in has a weight. All right, so some of these things, if you're looking at the fine dust, like Alan's just mentioned with the drywalling, it's almost like having a bag of unprepared drywalling when you're finished and sanded inside the extractor. So that could be up to 25 kilos of weight. Again, if I'm up and down the stairs, a painter and decorator working and renovating people's homes, that's when I would look at the fact I'm up, I'm down, I want a little bit less weight in my extractor. So that would be a good one to sort of do. But again, the 110 caveat comes in there. So your 110, the smallest and lightest you can get to is the MIDI. And then obviously we can go larger in the range at that point. So remember that 110 with the M class if you really need to be working on construction sites.
And size of extractor in the beginning can have an effect on the long-term costs of your extractor because the bigger extractor, the less, if you're using the closed bag system, the less you'll be spending on bags because that bag will sit in your extractor for a very long time. Whereas the smaller your extractor, some applications you can fill a bag within a couple of minutes and then you'll be needing to replace those bags. But there is a way to get around that. Let me show you, yep, just to step out of frame for a moment. There is a solution for if you're doing those applications where you're generating a lot of waste very quickly. And that is what we call a long life bag. So the nice thing about this bag is you can open the end of it, empty the waste out, close it again and put it back in your extractor. So that way, if you're planing especially, you generate an enormous amount of waste. Sawing, routering timber, all those applications, a long life bag is a great solution. But what do all those wastes have in common, Carl?
They're very coarse wastes, Alan. So, you know, the long life bag is only suitable for those types of applications where the dust particles are very large. If you start to use fine dust applications, i.e. sanding is a good example there. With a long life bag, all you're going to do, if I take that from you, is fill that bag of fine dust and expose yourself to very high volumes and high concentrated amounts of dust when you take the end off to empty the bag. So you're actually probably going to be exposing yourself to more dust using the wrong bag. If you are using those type of applications, the filter bag, I'll just swap over, there we go, that comes supplied with the machines, and then you can buy in packs of 5. Make sure you buy one with your extractor. You never know when it's going to fill up, so you need your spares straight away. That's what you will then use for those sanding applications. These are disposable, one use, pull the tab, it seals in all that hazardous dust, and then just throw them away. Be responsible, throw them away responsibly, but then dispose of them, put a new one in and start work again.
Yeah, and please, if you're getting an extractor today, never ever leave your shopping cart or leave the store without a box of bags. And for the MIDI, let's say for example, I don't want to give a price, but they are very, very economical. You know, if you charge extra, every project that you go to, charge them an extra £5. As you walk out the project, take the bag out the extractor, put a nice new fresh clean bag in. It just helps you contain the waste to a particular project, and it just helps you. It's just a good practice to get involved in, and you maintain, it's like a dust mask of your extractor. You're maintaining your extractor much better by doing that. So please, a box of bags, don't forget about that.
Yeah, I really like that example that Alan has just used there, a dust mask for the extractor. So if you think that you would change your dust mask when moving from job to job, think about changing the dust mask inside your extractor as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is one other solution as well that we can do with the coarser type of dusts.
Yes.
And that is our CTVA, our pre-separator. So we have one just here in front of us. And what that does is it slows the rate of speed of the dust that's flowing when it gets into the separator. So the heavy dust can fall down, and the fine dust that still exists can continue to travel into the filter bag and the extraction system to contain all that harmful dust. So again, on the dusts, this time it doesn't matter whether they're coarse or slightly finer. So we could look at this for sanding applications, drywall applications. We can use the separator. And again, that can be used with a collection bag to responsibly throw the dust away, or for those coarser things like planing and routing chippings, where it's more of a chipping than a dust, we can contain them in the bag and again tip them away responsibly. Really easy to use. Simply pull out, pop that into the extractor, make sure it's on the side where the extraction symbol is, and then put your extractor's hose into the separator, and away you work.
Yeah, and that can really save you a lot of time because it's easy to change. It's nice and visible, so you can see how full the CTVA gets as you're using it, and it's a really nice cost-effective way of containing large volumes of waste that you're creating. Thanks, Carl. I forgot about that one. That's a great solution.
Yeah, I mean, so just to give you an idea, some key industries that I've worked with that in have been guys that manufacture stairs. Lots of routing, lots of planing on the stringers. Absolutely perfect for them.
Yeah.
Saves them a fortune in bags.
The next topic we'd really like to encourage you to look at when you're considering an extractor is Bluetooth. It is turned out to be absolutely wonderful. When it first came out, I thought, is it a little bit gimmicky? But now, genuinely, I would not use an extractor without Bluetooth. And one of the first benefits you can use with Bluetooth, and the primary benefit of Bluetooth, is you can very quickly register your tool on the Festool work app. So it's something like the MIDI, which is one of our new latest extractors. It's got built-in Bluetooth. You can use that Bluetooth, sync it with your phone if you've got the Festool work app, and register it. So as soon as your phone is, your power tool, your Festool power tool is registered, you've got 3 years completely free servicing and repairs. You've got 10-year spare parts guarantee. And the third one, which is my absolute favorite, go on, Carl.
Theft?
Theft insurance, absolutely. Can you believe it? If you buy a Festool power tool, you get theft insurance. It doesn't cost you anything besides 2 or 3 minutes of your time to register the tool, and then you are completely covered. You can lose your receipt, your paperwork, because we've got that information from you on the registration process. So please use your Festool work app to register your tools.
Yeah, so Bluetooth. A lot of people thought it was a novel thing.
I love it.
It's not. We can't live without it nowadays. But where is it? Where can it be used? So first of all, as Alan pointed out with the MIDI and the Mini, the Bluetooth is built in. And that's one way to show you the difference between the extractor and the other product that looks very similar, which was the unclassified CT15. No Bluetooth, Bluetooth integrated. So just make sure you understand that and you're aware of it. But then on our larger machines, just behind Alan there, and Alan can show you that we can retrofit the Bluetooth on the panel.
Yeah, so when you buy a 26-litre extractor and up, this is just a blanking plate. So this is a nice optional extra for you. That's a module that you can, I think it's a number 5 Allen key, isn't it, Carl? You can undo the blanking plate, pop your Bluetooth module into your extractor, and you can turn a great extractor into a awesome extractor by having the Bluetooth module.
So the first thing to look at when you want to use the Bluetooth is probably the Bluetooth remote. So that's all that you would need to buy for the MIDI. When you buy the retrofit kit, which is the receiver and the remote, all comes together. So how does it work? It's dead simple, it's dead easy. All we have to do is make sure the extractor's turned on. You can see the light on there, and I press and hold the Bluetooth connection button down until I get a rapid flashing blue light. Once that light is flashing, I can then press the manual button on the remote, and we are synchronized. So I can now turn the extractor on and on, all from here. And supplied with it are 2 heavy-duty rubber straps, and these are designed to go around either the thinner or the larger hoses that we do, so you can attach your remote to the hose, and it's always there when you need it. So whether it be, God forbid, using with a competitor's power tool,
Carl, never. No.
You know, then of course you can turn the extractor on to use with another brand of tool, should you have one. But also makes those cleaning jobs really easy, because we can just remove the hose from the tool and we have our cleaning up and on and off at the touch of a button.
And the Bluetooth remote is absolutely fantastic. I cannot describe to you. And also customer feedback we've had. I'm not the only, what I thought was crazy person, because I was absolutely passionate about the remote. But I've used it doing a flat roof with my extractor in the room below me, and I've been able to control my extractor up on the roof with my Bluetooth remote. So it is just a wonderful piece of kit. Please don't leave your shopping cart. Don't check out without having one of those remotes in your cart if you're purchasing one of our extractors, because it is just fantastic.
But one other little tip we can give you with the remote is then the connection point for your power tool. So most, if not all, of Festool 18-volt tools now come with a Bluetooth-enabled battery, which means the Bluetooth system can now be used to turn on the extractor automatically and off automatically, just as it would if we'd plugged in a power tool to the auto on-off power takeoff. So, dead easy to do that. Again, we can do it by either pressing the Bluetooth button down on the extractor and then pressing the power switch on the tool.
But Cole, I've become so adept to not having to reach down to my extractor.
Yeah, and that's where the remote comes in. Even easier, you can actually use the synchronization button on the bottom of the remote.
Oh, I love that.
So just to show you that there's no magic and no trickery going on, I'm going to press the button, Alan's going to start the tool.
Go on.
So I press the button on the remote, Alan starts the tool.
Power tool flashes.
And the extractor runs with the overrun time, because it's now been connected to a power tool, so it needs to remove any residual waste that's in the hose, and away we go. And again, just to show you that I'm not doing anything, there's the remote. Alan, if you could go again. And there you have it, Bluetooth connectivity. Absolutely great addition to our range of extractors.
Yeah. And that's the Festool system. Even if you've got a cordless power tool, you've got seamless integration with our extractors, because extraction is so important for us, and that's the benefit of using the Festool system in its entirety. Because I get a lot of calls with customers having, and I know I hate to say it on camera, customers having problems with our Bluetooth batteries or Bluetooth extractors. And it does sometimes happen because the software needs to be updated on the Bluetooth system. So that's a great thing, again, by having the Festool work app and having the Bluetooth integration, is on the app, when you've registered your tool, you can check to see if the software is up to date on your tool. So if you have any problems with any of the tools, upgrade the software on your batteries, upgrade the software on your extractors, and that solves the problem. And then you've got perfect up-to-date system within the extractors.
Yeah, and again, that all works via the Festool work app, and it's so simple and easy to do. You may be sat there now thinking, you're complicating my life a little bit here with batteries and connectivity to apps and all that sort of thing, but there is a reason why we do it. The first one is it's a great way for us to help you troubleshoot with any problems, but the second one is by being able to do those software updates to your tools that we release on a regular basis, you can update your tool to get the maximum performance and the maximum runtime from your batteries and anything that's enabled with Bluetooth. So you can update software, you can update it in the batteries, sometimes in the machine as well, and it makes that machine perform better for you without the need of costly downtime and the requirement of you sending the tool back to our engineers for us to do it.
We give you that control and the power to be able to do that. And again, one of the benefits of the Festool system. So the Festool work app, please remember that one.
Awesome.
But Cole, what happens if I'm in a specific trade? Let's jump into trades quickly, because we've done quite general conversations. Let's take a look at carpentry, for instance. I'm a carpenter. What should I be looking at? Is there anything more specific you can narrow down to my trade?
Again, being a carpenter, let's think of the materials that I may be using. Man-made boards, MDF, OSB, plywood, even hardwoods and softwoods. Some are classified as M-class. So there you have it. We need to be looking at an M-class extractor or above. And then again, am I more mobile? Do I want something a little bit smaller, a bit lighter in weight? Am I producing a lot of dust? I do a lot of routing. I perhaps need a little bit more capacity. Or do I need an added on accessory with a separator? That's where you need to be looking at as a carpenter. But again, because of materials, M-class extraction.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And I'd like to throw the question back to you. I'm a painter, what should I look at?
Well, again, you want to take a look at perhaps the tools that you're using. So if you're a paint and decorator, you're working with a lot of residential sites, and you're using small hand sanders, which I think probably 80 to 90% of the paint and decorators do, you're not generating a high volume of waste. So then I would really, as Carl pointed out earlier actually, the little MIDI is a great solution for you. Because even though you're generating fine dust, and the MIDI is not an auto clean extractor, because you might be sending a bit of filler, it's got another great little feature to it where it's got a manual clean. So the MIDI is sort of a little step towards auto clean function in being able to cope with that fine waste that you're generating as a painter and decorator. So that's a great solution for you working in small environments. It's a small extractor, as Carl says, up and down stairs. But if you're using one of our Planix drywall sanders, in that instance, you're generating incredibly high volumes of very, very fine waste. And then you have to have one of the auto clean extractors. The nice thing about an auto clean extractor is it's not just for the drywall sander. So if you're also using smaller hand sanders, it's absolutely wonderful a machine for that. So that's a real all-rounder for painters and decorators. But as I say, most of the time, you're using small sanders. Let's take a look at the next trade, and that is general building or renovation. Go on, Cole.
Again, think of the type of dust that you're using. So, M-class for the right materials, or speak to the manufacturer of the material that you may be using. You may be using cementitious type boards and that sort of thing. So again, it's always worth a check. But again, the answer is going to come back towards M classification, and then the decision, do I need auto clean? Do I not need auto clean? One thing I will say though, if you do pass me the auto clean bag, if you've still got it there, Alan.
Yes.
Although it's very easy to dispose of, just like the others, We have the ability to use this system when we are in auto clean, the open bag system, and we can throw them away with the cable tie, just zip them up and move them. But just because we've brought an auto clean extractor doesn't mean we can't use non-auto clean filter bags as well. So Absolutely. If you're using wood, coarse dust, anything like that, but you have an auto clean extractor, pop that bag out, pop your filter bag in, and just turn the auto clean off. So the auto clean extractors do give you the best of both worlds, so are always worth looking at. If you're unsure, you may need it, you have the option of either or.
Perfect for the general builder, or if you're doing renovation because you're dealing with all those mixed types of materials, it's a great solution for you. But I think there's one little extractor that we've kind of avoided, which I think is a great solution for if you're working in really tight spaces, like you're going through a loft hatch, or you're working in environments where you're maybe just doing snagging, you're just running into an office block, or so you just need something really small, really portable. And Carl, you've got it standing there behind you. Please let's not forget about the little CT sys.
It's a cracking extractor. You know, people look at it and think it fits in a sustainer. It must be small. It must be tiny. It mustn't do the job properly. It is fully classified. It's got the L sticker on there. It is a classified dust extractor. It is able to be used with power tools, and it does get you up ladders and in those tight spaces. So again, give that a thought if the type of dust that you're using allows you.
So you've got the right extractor in your shopping cart. What accessories can you get with your dust extractor? And this is really important because we want you to go out on site to be fully prepared to face all the challenges that you're going to face. Cole, you've got something there behind you.
Yeah, so obviously don't forget, as well as using with the tool, we may want to use the extractor to clean up slightly. So we have cleaning kits, and they are available in sustainer form, where they're all there and you can keep them all nice and clean. And this is the benefit to an extractor rather than the cleaner. Our sustainers on all of our extractors will clip to the top and make it part of your transport system. Yeah. So again, if you're using an extractor in a workshop or in the back of the van to and from job sites, you can wheel all of your products in one go. The wheels become your transport system, and all of your tools and extractors for your accessory storage just sit on the top and make a big difference. And again, that's one of the differences between our extractor, professional extractor, and our vacuum cleaner, if you like, where we haven't got the ability to stack any of the sustainers on the top. We also have things like handles to make it a little bit easier. So on the back of the MIDI there, you can see I can raise the handle just to make it easier to push in and out. There are handles available for all of the machines. Anything else I've missed?
The Bluetooth?
Bluetooth, yeah, so remember your Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Cleaning kits, we do various different cleaning kits. So the one in there was a plastic one for more industrial workshop type use. We do these metal type ones. Do my little impression of a cleaner now. Away we go.
Great job.
And yeah, so lots of accessories. Make sure to add them on as part of your purchase. And
don't forget about dust bags. Please, please, please never leave the shopping cart without a box of dust bags. They're really economical and easy to go. Another thing a lot of people forget about is hoses. So as Cole mentioned, on your remote, you get different strap options for different hoses. Is that we really recommend a 36 diameter hose. If you're doing a lot of sawing, a lot of routing, to have a nice extra 36 mm hose, you get less cloggage, and that's another great accessory for you for your more demanding applications.
Yeah, excellent. And then of course, one other thing that we can't not mention, we've talked about Bluetooth connectivity and how flexible our extractors have become with Bluetooth and our cordless products, but all of these extractors have got a power cable on. Have we got a solution for that, Alan?
Cool, thank you very much. And yeah, we can turn your mains extractor into a completely cordless solution for you by using the SYS power station. So you can see it fits nicely, as Carl mentioned, onto your extractor, so it can be completely one unit. And in this instance, I can now use this extractor in the middle of a field. I can use this extractor and go anywhere without being tethered by these horrible cables and horrible plugs that you need. And also, the SYS power station is so powerful. I can plug in any power tool into my extractor and that can be both powered off the SIS power station. So it is just an amazing solution for you to be completely mobile and just work anywhere.
Fantastic.
And that's Extraction 101.
Thank you for joining us.